that, all is well that ends well. Now, I'd like to introduce you my panel this evening. I've got Dr. Amache Boateng with me. He's with the History and Political Studies Department, K University. Also, I have Professor Martin Akote. He's a rector for the Valley View University, and he's a governance expert as well. Now, before I ask you, gentlemen, to tell me how your day has been, because I know that you went out there to vote, especially you, Professor Akote, you had to travel all the way to the OT region to go and vote. I mean, this press conference held by the GJA saying that the lives of a journalist matters and that there's been some threats, some journalists. What do you make of all this, Professor Akote?
Well, thank you very much, David. Yes, it is true the lives of all journalists matter, but I wish we could slow down some of these press statements at this point in time. At this moment, everybody is trying to know what is happening with the results. So I wish we will focus on that. But what he is also asking for is important, that the lives of all journalists must be protected. Thank you.
But Dr. Machi, I mean, isn't it disappointing that in the last elections we had about some 8 people dying? It doesn't seem as if we've learned some lessons from it, because even in today's elections, lives have been lost. Yes. How does that, sit with you?
Well, it is rather unfortunate because this means that we're still not there as a country. Ghana prides itself so well of our democratic credentials, but when it gets to this point, it doesn't look like we are there yet. And it is unfortunate. It is something all stakeholders will have to work on so that we can really reduce some of these tensions that are always associated with our elections.
One other concern I would like for you, Dr. Amache Boateng, to take this one up for me, has to do with the fact that somebody was even arrested in the Kaswa, enclave, holding an AK-47 rifle. Why would an individual, knowing how critical this year's elections is, and all the education and all the information that we've shared, still go to a station with the rifle?
Thanks, David. Let me say good evening to your viewers. Actually, the whole thing is quite interesting. He has the courage to carry the weapon there. AK-47 is supposed to be used by the security people. And this individual, I don't know, we don't have much information about him. Having the courage to take it there at this material moment leaves a lot to be desired. One thing is that some of these things are terribly disappointing. The sort of the strength, the courage that they have in coming out with such weapons, to me, emanate from the fact that they know they have strong people supporting them. This issue of impunity, they know, they have been promised, they have been assured that, look, go out there and do what we've asked you to do, we'll protect you. That is exactly what, has been going on with all the other, pockets of violence that have been visited on us, today. One person losing their life, the story that came with it, leaves a lot to be desired. People came shooting simply because that they were confronted for acting in a way that is not in conformity with the electoral laws. Then that was it. They felt that, how dare you? What right do you have to, engage us when we, if you like, were doing what we have been authorized to do? They were supposed to be sharing money. And just because of that, they turn around, they come out with guns, shooting all over the place. And if the story that we were told, the narration, if it was right, then this gentleman, an individual relaxing somewhere, ostensibly having gone to vote, and being seen in party colors, then that was it. He was a target. I mean, we don't do that. But this is what is happening. All these things, just like road accidents, are planned and then executed. and there are strong men behind it. That is why we keep having, the challenge we have in Ghana has got to do with these strong men in society who, over the years, have proven that they are above the laws of this country. They can act in whatever way and get away with it.
So going forward, you tell me, what do you think we need to do to ensure that when we go to the polls, lives are not lost?
David, to the extent that we have this impunity becoming entrenched in Ghanaian political life, economic mismanagement, they get away with it, and when we come to vote to select our leaders, they think that it should be a power game. They don't believe in the right of citizens to select their own leaders. They think at the end of the day they should use their own machinations to impose candidates, individuals on society. So to the extent that these things are allowed to go, only yesterday in the United States, they simply decided to use the system to confront someone who was the immediate past president, Donald Trump. He was sent to court. Can we do that? I hear that the Constitution makes it possible for some of these people to be taken to court, 3 years after they leave office. Can we begin to, act in such fashion here? In the absence of that, the impunity will continue. The economy will simply be plunged. Lives will be taken for granted. After all, what? All die. David, be die. That is what we have been told, and this is what we are seeing. So Ghana is not really a serious state yet. There are certain things that are still missing. We are told that the military, would not necessarily be at particular places. They turn out to be there.
In terms of the polling station?
Yes. So what is happening? Who has the final word? And this final word, is it something that could be adhered to? Or people can simply flout it and get away with it? So we are not a serious state. We are not. The problem is the leadership.
Professor Kote, come in here and tell me, what do you make of the various, press conferences that we've had from the NPP and the NDC? And they are called to, their supporters to go to the constituency coalition centers. How necessary are all this?
Well, let me say that I don't think they are necessary. These are all recipes for maybe chaos, because we have to believe in the ability of the EC to be able to deliver, you see. But if we have to call or mobilize our members, call on them, please go to the EC headquarters or go there and protect your votes or the ballot boxes. Honestly, as Dr. Machi was saying, these are all very disgraceful. Honestly, as a country and as a democratic country, as so to speak, as we would like to call ourselves, we are not doing well. And I believe that this, to a large extent, reflects the kind of leadership that we have.
Prof, indulge me. Hold on for me. Let's cross over and engage with Natalia Kwanzaa. I'm told she has some information for us at this very point in time. So, Natalia, good evening to you. And what do you have for us right now?
Good morning. So I was reporting from the Sikado-Ketan constituency of the Western region. Apparently, I was threatened by some electorates that for these electorates, they were destroying ballot papers, which was being sent into the Collation center at Esikado. And I was threatened because I was recording or filming them tear up ballot papers. And then, so I had to report to the commander who was there at that point, and then myself plus other journalists had to be escorted by the police to our homes. I can hardly hear you.
how traumatic was the experience for you?
It was very traumatic as for someone or a group of gang to look at you in the eyes and tell you that we are going to cut off your head, we are going to leave your lifeless body here, and nobody can do anything. And you are Joy News. I know you are Joy News, and you are covering this to share with your people. And if this goes out, your life, you wouldn't leave. You live here lifeless. That was very traumatic. At the point, I was crying, and my colleagues around, they had seen the threats come to me, so they were all traumatic. And so we were on the top of the building at the Methodist Church. We had to find our way, a staircase down, and then meander through the ballot boxes which were packed, which have been received and packed, meander through our way to get down, and then head to the police and then report for them to give us the escort. It wasn't easy for me. I mean, because I had seen the way they had behaved chaotic in 4 years ago, and even today, how they had beaten up some security officers, torn up fire service officers' clothes, and how they have even torn some pig sheets as they were bringing them to the Collation Center. So I must say, even as I talk to you, I am frightened.
Sorry about that, but tell me, what happened to these people who threatened you? Were they arrested? What really happened?
These are like a huge crowd. Nobody's like, so I was there on top. They were just, it was chaotic. It was a chaotic scene. For the video, if the police gets the video that I took, you could see them saying "whoa, whoa" in our local parlance, like you. So they can't be identified in that video. For now, we have left there, so I do not know what the police would do to these people.
All right, so in Natalia, sorry about that. We wish you well and enjoy the rest of the morning. Let's now take a trip to Ledzokuku. Hi, good morning. And if you can hear me, what can you share with us? What is happening at Ledzokuku right now? Papani Ashali, if you can hear me, what is happening at Ledzokuku right now? Hello, Papani, can you hear me? All right, so I'm told that we'll be getting back to Papani shortly. But you heard in Natalia Kwanzaa there, Dr. Machibwa saying, what do you make of what she narrated to us?
Well, this environment of insecurity is what is, if you like, relating to. The basic thing is that we've learned no lessons. You know, this morning I recall suggesting that nobody should lose a single strand of hair on account of these elections. I'm wrong. You know, the problem in there is the impunity. Like she recounted, you know, a security personnel has been beaten mercilessly. I tell students that, you know, members of the security represent the state. You can't attack them. It's part of our duty, our responsibility. In some political scientific terms, we say that it is our support for the system. I mean, we can't have a police state. So no matter what, the security is not, the number is not big enough to ensure security all over the place at the same time. Society has got to provide this support for the state by working with them, not attacking them, even when they don't agree with them.
I hear you. I know that Papani Ashale is now ready for us. Papani, good morning to you. So wherever you are, Papani, what can you share with us right now?
So, about a few minutes ago, some military men were forced to beat a retreat after a fierce standoff between themselves and some residents of Ledzokuku who are here witnessing the collation exercise. Their point is that why will the military, which from press releases we know that they have been instructed to abstain from being at the polling stations or the collation centers unless they have been invited. So they use that order to resist their entry into the Collation Center. There's a lot of conversations that has been going around, many people peddling some allegations. We try to find some veracity. But what we know for a fact is that there were some gunshots with the military forcing their way into the Collation Center. This particular vehicle is at the center of the allegations and the controversy. That this vehicle, we are told, was escorted by the military men and was carrying or has some collation materials from some polling stations. Or allegedly, these people say they don't know where these ballot boxes are coming from. So if you look clearly inside of this, you'll see the ballot boxes inside this particular vehicle. Well, during the standoff and the whole chaos, well, some of the glasses were broken, we are told. At the other side of the vehicle, you see that when we go there as well. I mean, it was a heated exchange between these individuals, mainly the residents, who mainly also support the incumbent member of parliament for Ledzokuku, Benjamin Ayuku here. But there's a woman who tells me that she was assaulted by these armed uniformed men who appear to be militiamen. Good evening. What's your name?
My name is Josephine.
Josephine, really? What happened to you?
So just now, okay. Na prosperemba. What the machine be na won kwame. Shenia make a boss near machine no ni na ga men wo boss weko. Na make nye na ko make ko wa bola se ko mi. What the bomb bola mo. Ame wole di be ame wole boss we. No prosper you ko me. So she's telling me that when the men came, they used the cane on her, and those are the marks that you see. She's suffering from this excruciating pain simply because they asked her to keep quiet, and she refused to keep quiet. She insisted that they had no right to be here. And you can also see here that she's teary of a sudden. It's really painful for her, just that you saw her squint at that. But what is happening right now is that, well, there are some gentlemen here who are trying to retrieve these boxes. And these boxes, I must say again, are the center of the controversy. That they did not want these boxes to be added to the collation of Ledzokuku's count already. But I have seen the NDC constituency chairperson who's leading this. I must say that earlier, most of the people that were protesting this move by the military were mainly NDC supporters because they were chanting that they wanted Ayuku and Ayuku is here to stay. So based on that, I'm saying that. But this gentleman here particularly is the current chairman of the NDC in the constituency. We'll try to understand what really. Chairman, why are you trying to retrieve the boxes?
Everything's under control.
Everything's under control. That's what he tells us. But what we've managed to gather again is that these boxes are originally from the barracks. So we understand that was a collation center. If you look at Ledzokuku's demarcation, the 37 barracks, you may call it, is part of Ledzokuku, and therefore the polling stations inside of them is where these boxes are coming from. That's what we managed to pick up, but we'll try to ascertain the veracity of that here. But again, you realize how the people here are resisting that particular move. What we are told is that the lady in the scarf is the lady in the scarf is the presiding officer for that particular place. I mean, so some clarity. Okay, I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. So because she's here, I prefer that I talk to her as a presiding officer to explain the situation to us. Right?
Let the presiding officer explain.
Thank you. Okay, I'll definitely let her explain to us what exactly is happening. So if you can have some silence so we can hear that. So, madam, listen to me. So, good evening. Good evening. What's your name?
I'm Adelaide.
Adelaide?
Yes.
Adelaide? Okay. Adelaide, what we have been told, I mean, by this raging crowd is that these military men sought to bring in unaccounted for boxes with content they do not know, and they asked of the polling officials and none of them were available. But I'm just being told that you are actually the presiding officer for these boxes. Can you explain to me how these boxes got into the hands of the military?
I'm presiding at Maths Academy Hall 1. And
where is that at?
It's in the barracks.
Inside the barracks?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So when we were done, I
was looking for a vehicle to convey the things here. I wasn't getting. But the other party members gave me the opportunity to bring it. I said, no, I want to be neutral, to bring it myself. So that was what I did. So we were coming with all my officials at work. We are 5 in number with the agents in our car. But when we were coming from the other side, they were stopping us, that they would not allow us to enter. I have spent 3.5 hours outside waiting. So one person had to come to my rescue by sending me out to a nearby place for security. So I asked my sister who was driving the car to move ahead. And they followed the car and started breaking the wings of the car.
So, one question, how did you get the military to escort you here?
Yeah. No military escorted me.
Military escorted you? It's a lie. She told you. She wasn't here. That time she escorted to Dakota Hotel. So what happened was my small girl drove the car to the military gate. So explaining to the military, they first told her the military are not supposed to be here. But at the end of it all, they managed to bring to escort the car here. So when she reached here, she called me and gave the key to me. The car is mine.
Okay. I'll come back to you. So Adelaide. So you've been explaining that you did not ask for the military to be here with you.
Yes.
Great. So okay. Take your time. I'll let you have your say. So really, what I saw at least were that there were at least more than a dozen policemen as military men here. Yes. So okay.
When I just came here with the escort of 2 policemen from the Dakota Hotel. I don't know the name of the hotel here. So they brought me in to come and check whether the boxes there, mine is part. So that is why I went in. But when I checked, I told them mine is not part. So then they asked me then, where is it? I said, before I left it, it was in the car. So then they said, okay, who is having the key? So I had to quickly look for the one having the key to come and open the car so that they can bring out the ballot.
So, final question. So, you are saying that these boxes are not from the military directly, but these are boxes that you presided over, people voted, and you are just returned to the Collation Center. Why did it take you so long to bring it here?
I came here earlier, but I was stopped from this side. So they were asking me, people were moving, asking, what happened? So I said they should hold on. I'll get to the Collation Center, then they'll get to know everything. But they were not able to understand me.
So thank you very much, Adelaide. So you just heard from Adelaide, right? She says that she was an occupant of that vehicle that is at the center of the whole controversy, that it was carrying ballot papers and ballot boxes that these people say they do not identify and cannot allow it to be added to the collation that is happening here in Ledzokuku. You heard from her, she's disputing the fact that she asked for military escort. She didn't know how they came about, that she was earlier escorted out of the premises by some policemen, and she had to return on her own, again in the company of these policemen. What they want to do now is to retrieve these boxes so that the content can be verified again by the polling agents that she had with her at the time that she was doing it. I mean, by way of correction as well, we are not talking about 37 military barracks, as I mentioned earlier. We are talking about the barracks not far from the Ledzokuku police station here, right after Captain. That's one right around that place. So what they want to do, and I've seen the NDC chairman for the constituency try to assist with that. Well, what we are told is that at least from the results that were announced in the polling station, the NDC again took a lead in that particular polling station. So it remains to be seen whether these people will change their mind or not. But what we also know is that the Ghana Police Service and the district commander over here also resisted the intrusion of these military men into this particular place. Under his command and his resistance, these people have now beat a retreat. They have left. It remains to be seen whether they will come back again. We'll try to find the commander shortly and also ask him what really is happening. But for one thing is for sure is that Adelaide is trying to earnestly to get these boxes out of this vehicle because she believes these are the legitimate votes of residents of this constituency, and it will be unfair for them not to get a say in this particular election, especially in the election of a member of parliament that will represent them in parliament for the next 4 years. Hopefully we'll be able to get some answers.
No, the ballot boxes are supposed to be in some EC branded vehicles, but this vehicle that we're seeing on our monitors are not EC branded vehicles. We'll be coming back to that shortly, but let's go to Kweku Asante, who's also on standby. He's got some information for us. Kweku Asante, good morning to you. What do you have for us right now, Kweku?
Morning. It's a very, very torturous process here. The collation started about an hour ago, and if you look at the way it's been going, I'm not a professor of maths, but I could tell you that we are perhaps just about 2% in, because if you see right from the start, and the camera will pan and give you a shot right from the start up until the end, these are all presiding officers of various polling stations who have come in here to have their results collated. And so they are moving in queues one after the other. And when you go, they validate your results. Then it is projected on the big screen that is behind me, which you will see pretty shortly. And so if you look at the queue from the start up until the tail end, that represents every single polling station from the Adentan constituency. All of them will have to submit their documents for validation. Those documents will have to be validated. The pink sheet, would have to be collated and then input in this on this screen behind me. That is generating the results from across Adentan constituency, every single polling station. The numbers coming in so far looks pretty comfortable for the NDC. They've been winning most of the presidential from the polling stations as well as the parliamentary as well. But it's very early in yet because, like I told you, you saw the queue. It's very long and winded right from the start up until the end. Unlike other polling stations where the candidates have started coming in, we haven't seen the Member of Parliament here, Ademu Ramadan. Neither have we seen the NPP parliamentary candidates in the person of Akosua Medu. None of them have been here so far. We understand they are undertaking their own collation. About 15 minutes ago, I was sitting right behind the NDC agent in this collation center, and they seem to have almost all the results. Whenever the Electoral Commission official starts mentioning the specifics from the polling stations, he already has a tablet with all the results on it. He's just cross-checking and then just taking them as they do, and if they have any challenge, they will do same. About 2-3 hours ago also, the special vote in this constituency was also counted, and let me give you that results pretty shortly. And we know the special vote was held here in Accra on Monday. If you look at the special voting for the president at Adentan polling station A, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia garnered 157 votes, as against John Dramani Mohamed's 304 votes at the polling station A. When it comes to the parliamentary, NPP's Akosua Samedu got 188, as against Ademu Ramadan's 278. So when it comes to polling station A, the NDC won both the parliamentary and the presidential for the special voting. When you go to polling station B, the NPP's Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia garnered 154 votes, as against John Mohamed's 300 votes. And then when you go to the parliamentary, Akosua Samedu of the NPP garnered 188 votes, as against the NDC's Ademu Ramadan's 277. So the NDC winning both polling station A and B of the special votes that was held on Monday in terms of both the presidential and the parliamentary. And that is the same thing that is going on with the votes that are being collated right behind me by the Electoral Commission officials. So the situation here is calm. A lot of party supporters, you recall that live we did, they're explosive, a lot of them massing up right in front of the Victory Presbyterian Church to actually declare that they had already won this election and they wanted a Member of Parliament as well as John Mahama to be declared victors. Most of them have dispersed now. It's getting late. They are getting tired. They've all gone back to their houses, perhaps to catch all this excitement on the TV. But a number of the NDC agents themselves, a lot of them outside because they do not have accreditation to be in the Collation Center. All of them are seated outside. And so this room is made up mainly of journalists, Electoral Commission officials from across Adentan who have all come in here. And the process is moving at a tortoise pace. But of course, because everyone here wants that process to be verified properly, no one is complaining at the pace at which it is going as the Electoral Commission continues to collate the results from the numerous and dozens polling stations scattered across Adentan. But it's good news for the NDC because it appears they are cruising towards victory when it comes to Adentan. They've mentioned or collated a dozen of polling stations and they've won 90% of that with quite a healthy lead. But we can't declare any results for now except the special voting that I've been able to give you the data. In the next 2 or 3 hours, we expect that the results will finally become clear and we'll get to see whether or not Ademo Ramadan beats that odd where no parliamentary candidate or MP wins 2 times in a row. Either you lose your party primaries or you lose the general election. And he is seeking to beat that odds. It's looking good for him so far. Or Akosia Meno will come in and cause an upset and win the parliamentary seat for the NPP. Will it also be John Dramani Mahama winning Adenta like he did in 2020, or Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, whose in-law is actually Ademo Ramadan, is also going to win here. So that is the situation at Adentan where it's eagerly, people are just eagerly waiting to see how it goes. And if the pace at which things are going is anything to go by, it's past midnight now, we'll probably get the results around 3 or 4 a.m.
Where James Aveji is also waiting for us. James, good morning to you. Welcome to Studio 995 Kumasi. What do you have for us, James? Hello, James Aveji, if you can hear me, we want to hear from you. I know that you are the Ayawaso West Ward constituency. What do you have for us, James?
To reject some ballot boxes, 2 more ballot boxes that have been brought here at the Collation Center by some suspected NPP supporters 8 hours into the coalition process. It is unclear where they brought this 2 ballot boxes from, but they brought it indicating that they are part of the polling station ballot boxes that needed to be considered and collated and results counted as part of the process. But the NDC supporters here objected to that, and some of them actually snatched the ballot boxes from the agents who brought it, smashed them on the ground, breaking the ballot boxes, and all of this its content, the ballot papers contained in the splashed on the floor, scattered all around, and amid cheers and hooting to the NPP candidate, party agent who brought it. And so you see there the ballot box is being tossed around until one person grabs it round and smashed it on the floor, breaking it entirely. And so that's what has been happening here at the Ayawaso West Wogon Collation Center. Just about some 30 minutes ago, a similar incident occurred where a gentleman who had been apprehended by the police and still under interrogation also brought some one ballot box purportedly coming from Volta Hall, where he tried to introduce it to insisting that it been counted, where officials rejected that, leading to some altercation. Same thing just happened about some 5 minutes ago here at Ayawaso West Wogon constituency. So it's been one chaos after the other, especially with strange ballot boxes coming from all directions to the collation center here. But the NDC agent who we spoke with earlier indicate that they suspect this might be coming from their opponent, camp of their opponent, to try to swing the election results into their favor. They indicate that from the results they have gathered so far from the other, so all of the coalition centers across the constituency, it gives them the indication that their candidates, John Dumelo as well as John Dramani Mahama, are leading in the results. That has not been confirmed by the Electoral Commission yet, and so we cannot also verify those claims, but that is the claim they've been having, dancing, cheering on the streets of University of Ghana, Legon, and what we see now is string ballot boxes being introduced. And so the situation is now calm, restored now, and the coalition process is still ongoing. You cannot rule out another incident as far as this coalition process is ongoing, as there's been several of them proud to this particular one. And so Studio 995, that's what we've been experiencing here at the Ayawaso West Wogon Coalition Center.
And by Sweetie, take it away. Let's hear from you. All right, so we're now going to Ablekuma West, where we have Sweetie Abuchi on standby. Sweetie, what is happening at Ablekuma West? What can you share with us?
Well, as we speak, I believe we are in the assembly hall of St. Mount Olivet School, where collation is actually ongoing. You can see about 223 presiding officers seated here, going individually to the EC officials there to check in their pink sheets, cross-check data, and ensure that whatever they have is accurate. There have been complaints about the delay in the process, but everything is moving, should I say, steadily. However, about a moment ago, about 15 minutes ago, we had an incident here where the opposition National Democratic Congress representative or parliamentary candidate stormed in here. I don't know if you followed what happened here in the morning. After, in the afternoon rather, after voting ended, there was chaos here at the Ablekuma West constituency because some people believe that Ledzokuku had lost and they wanted to force their way into the premises to ensure that whatever results came out reflected what they believe to be the actual results. But what I'm talking about right now, we have the NDC parliamentary candidate here with us, and I want to see if I can get a chat with him before I continue the story. Reverend, you're live on Joy News. Can I speak with you? Great. So this is Reverend Kweku Ado. I'm just going to turn this on him. Yeah. Reverend, thank you for speaking with us. Now, two things I want to put to you. Yes. In this afternoon, we saw lots of guys here saying that they believe Esla Owusu had lost the election, and they wanted to be sure, they wanted to be vigilant so that the results that will come out of here reflect that. It caused an altercation, there was reinforcement. The question I'm wondering is, was it a planned thing? Was it intentional that the NDC supporters be vigilant here at the Collation Center, which brought about so much chaos over here? How do you respond to that?
I think it's a general approach because of what M had said. When somebody tells you, I'm going to steal you, I'm going to steal from you, you don't have an option but for you to be vigilant. Right from the beginning, we said we are going to be vigilant. Every member also, for so many times, we have the disadvantage because maybe we are not vigilant enough. So definitely it's an advantage for us to be vigilant from the beginning to the end, and that's exactly what they did. Whether it was one thing coming in or another thing going out, it didn't matter.
Right. Now, we've had so many issues here this evening. It's past midnight and we are still here collating results because of the delay. You stormed in about 20 minutes ago. That caused another bout of chaos here. What really happened, and why are you here in the Collation Center when I know that the police, the security personnel are stopping people? Before you came in, it was just media men, party agents, and EC officials that were in here. Why did you storm in here with such, should I say, chaos?
No, I didn't storm in chaos. It's the excitement of the people of Ablekuma West and their joy of the win of change. So many of them were excited to see them, and they were just excited about it. Because it had nothing to do with not appointed with them, but yes, one of them the win of change campaign. And yes, so I happen to be the one on which the win is being carried. You understand?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, some ballot boxes were intercepted and destroyed outside. I'm unable to go out because you know what happened outside. And have you seen any? How do you respond to all that?
I've seen some of the rescue of the contents in those things. I just showed you but those things are things that it's out of our vigilance that has brought us to that point. Because God knows, I was one of the oldest centers, and if we had not been vigilant, they would have added almost 10 ballots into the count. A similar thing was about to happen at what do we call it, Martin the Forest. So all these things were schemes that was already in place if we had not been vigilant. And for every polling station, if somebody is able to act in, and you multiply by the number of polling stations we have, then you can just imagine it. So even if it's one, we have to correct it, and we have to be vigilant about it. So basically, that's it. But I've heard about it, but it was the aftermath. Because for me, once the elections were done, we got our picture. What a box or contains in the box, it wouldn't matter.
That there is Reverend Kwekwado, the NDC parliamentary candidate for Ablekuma West, and we understand the IGP is here. I'm going to try and get to him in a bit, but this is what we have here, Studio 995. Currently, the NDC member parliamentary candidate is in here. Collation is ongoing. From the look of things, we might be spending an extra 4 or 5 hours here because there are 223 presiding officers, and it appears we haven't done half of that number yet. So this is what's happening, and that's when we know more, I'll keep you updated. But I'm trying to find the IGP. I see footages of him, but I really cannot locate him yet. And as and when I do, I'll check back in with you. Studio 995, over to you.
Sweetie Abochi, thank you very much. Next, he has something to share with us as well. Isaac Noya, good morning. What do you have for us this morning?
Good morning. We are currently at the Collation Center here in Damago. In fact, there are some few minutes ago, there was some chaos between the youth of the NDC and the Electoral Commission. The thing that, having listened to other constituencies where election results have been declared, be informal or informal, that of Damago is delaying. And if there's anything at all, they should let them know their fate, whether they are winning or not. Because unofficially, from the Collation Center and outside by the police station, they don't know that they were leading. And if they were leading outside, and now the results are here. The EC should not delay, but do the needful by declaring very early. They took over the entire building and even climb on top of the building, the structure. But I will speak the EC was compelled, the support of the police, to bring military to come and help them restore sanity to the area.
The calm has been restored.
Who are here from the police station try to submit the documents and the materials for the EC to certify them and then project it on the wall for all the parties to satisfy, and then they will declare the results.
Isaac Nonya, thank you very much for that, updates there. All right, so before we go to another collation center, Dr. Mache, what do you make of the delays of some ballot boxes being taken to some collation centers?
Dave, I thought that having gone through several elections, we started in 1992, we should have smoothened the procedures, by this time. I don't understand it. I think it's a problem with the system that have been ruled out. I expect that in constituencies, we should know the number of polling stations, the number of ballot boxes involved, and how to send the ballot boxes to the coalition center. And obviously, we expect that the agents of the parties should be with the ballot boxes to offset any suspicion. You see, this issue of suspicion is normal, natural in a democracy with these elections. It's not a faith-based issue. So we don't work with trust. The suspicion is there. Nobody trusts anybody. The United States has organized 1,000,001 elections. Over there, they don't work with trust. They make sure that the system works. At each stage, they make sure that there are checks and balances that have been perfected, fashioned out over the years. We should be there here in Ghana now. I believe that is the system that has been ruled out. I believe that things have not been thought through properly. That is why we could have a situation where, this lady presiding officer having difficulties cutting her ballot boxes to the collation center. I don't think it should happen.
So at this point in time, we've been informed that there are some people who are already jubilating. If we go to Ablekuma West, for example, some of the supporters of a particular political party are jubilating already. The EC has not come out with any certified results. Tell us a bit about, the Ablekuma West constituency using your to. Why is it a key, constituency to keep an eye on?
Well, David, I was monitoring the proceedings as you're talking to our correspondent. And before Ablekuma, let's go to the constituency you just came from, which is the Dago constituency. Dago. Interestingly, that is where the current Lands and Natural Resources Minister is MP, Samuel Abu Jinapo. And the borders his brother's constituency, Yape Kushogu, that is John Jinapo, one of the 7 constituencies in the Savannah region. And David, there's an interesting trend I'm seeing in all these areas. You can clearly see that in all these constituencies you go to, and I'll take you there, you notice that the differences are a bit negligible. The differences are not really huge like that. So I think that's the reason why most of the people feel that they need to go to the collation center, they need to be there to be able to track it. So that's the Damango constituency. Now, if I take you to the Ablekuma West constituency, as he said, let's go there. Let's go to the Greater Accra region. Yes, so that's Greater Accra. Let me take you there. When you go to the Ablekuma West constituency, it's also a very key constituency. Nope. Let me take you, David. My screen. Okay, so yes, I have it now.
No, you're on the Eastern region.
Okay, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, Greater Accra now.
Yes, so there's the Greater Accra region. And Ablekuma is a very small constituency. Ablekuma West constituency, so it's, let me try and zoom in for you. Okay, so let me go here. Let me search the Ablekuma West constituency. So there's Ablekuma West constituency. Now, when you notice the results between Reverend Kwekuado, who spoke to Suti Abochi in the constituency, and Aslausu Ekufo, the difference was about 6,600. In Damango, the difference was less than 3,000. Now, when you go to the Ledzokuku constituency, which is also in the Greater Accra region, you see another curious trend that the difference was also quite negligible between the current health minister, that is Benjamin Bernard Okoboy, and also Benjamin Nete. You can see that the difference again
less than 5,000. So I think that that's a characteristic in most of these areas where we are recording lots of chaos. Now, last, let me even give you the Ayawaso West Wogon, where we have John Dumelo and also Mama Lydia battling it out in that constituency. Now, when you go to Ayawaso West Wogon, you notice in 2020, Mama Lydia, for example, garnered 39,851. John Dumelo garnered 37,778. Again, the difference is quite negligible. And if you know the Ayawaso West constituency, one of the key battlegrounds is the campus of the University of Ghana, Legon, and that is why there's a lot of issues there.
And we all know even what happened during the special voting exercise, that took place on the 2nd of December. Now, Professor Akote, I mean, the fact that some people are jubilating, celebrating that their candidate has won at a time when the EC has not really announced a result, what do you make of that?
Well, thank you very much. I would urge some level of caution in these jubilations, but because it could be coming too early, especially when we haven't heard from the EC yet. But that notwithstanding, it is a known fact that all the political parties have their results as we speak. They all know their performance, what they have done, what they had, and they know it. So on that grounds, well, if you see somebody jubilating, fine, but then we have to wait patiently for the EC to come to authenticate it or whatever otherwise. Yes.
From last night when we, started conversations from Studio 995 Kumasi through this morning, one of the key things we talked about was whether the Ghanaians were ready to go out in their numbers to vote. We talked about the issue of voter apathy, despondency, or voter fatigue. Now, we know that per information we've gathered, the turnout has not been really encouraging. It doesn't come to you as a surprise, does it? Professor Akote.
Yes, it is surprising, but it may not also be surprising at the same time. It could be surprising because the Ghanaians seem to have a lot of issues that they want to use these elections to sort out. So on that basis, if you don't go out there to vote, to make your wishes or will clear, how do you get the means to solve the problems? You see. But so on that basis, it could be surprising because, you see, the path we have taken for democracy, elections is one of the major projects that we use to execute the will of the people. Okay? So when we have elections and it is open to all who qualify and you fail to take advantage of it, that is not good enough for yourself and also for the state. But where I think it might not also be surprising is that it looks like Doc was saying, or you were saying, a kind of fatigue. But maybe the Ghanaian is not also seeing the result that he or she might be looking out for in these elections. Apart from that, he might not even be confident of the system. You see, as we are seeing what is happening now. So confidence in the system is one, and then also the question of whether the democracy and, for that matter, the elections are delivering the results they are looking for is also another big question. So I think that, yes, myself, this morning, I traveled through about 4 regions from morning till this evening. And only one region, only in the Volta region, as early as 6 o'clock, I found people queuing up to go and vote as I crisscross the region. But all the others, I was even asking myself, are these people really coming? Do they know that today is the election date? Myself, where I went to cast my vote, I went there, I got there this morning about 7:30. When I got there, there was nobody there. So I was even asking the guys around, hey, haven't you started yet? They said, oh, the people are there. So I went there, and even at 7:30, I was maybe about the second person or so to cast my vote. So that should be disturbing to everybody who believes in this democracy project that we are embarking on. It should be disturbing.
Let's now take a trip to our smart wall where Eugene Osei-Tutu is on standby. Eugene, give us some figures, give us some percentages by way of voter turnouts in previous elections. What does it look like?
Well, David, when you come to the smart wall, you can clearly see that the lowest we've recorded in our history, if I take you back to 1992, and I think that the connoisseurs are here, the academics, they understand it better. Democracy was new to people after almost 11 years of the junta regime or the military regime. So we recorded just about 50.2% voter turnout in 1992. Now, when you go through the numbers, you notice that the highest we've recorded in our fourth Republican dispensation was in 2004, where we did some 85.1%. And that was a decent one. Now, let me take you to the last three elections to give you a view. In 2012, we did 79.43% voter turnout with a registered voter of 14.1 million. Then in 2016, we did 69.3%. So you can clearly see that we reduced in 2016. Then in 2020, the enthusiasm came again. We did 79%.
You continue for me shortly, but let's go to Ahafo North, where our reporter is on standby with some information. Hi, good morning. What do you have for us this morning? We're taking a trip to Ahafo North. And if you can unmute for me, please unmute for me and then share with us the information you have for us this morning. All right, we'll go back shortly to Ahafo North, when he's ready for us. But Eugene, again, when you're done with the analysis in terms of the voter turnouts, one thing that is also key is the fact that oftentimes the Ashanti region, the voter turnout from the Ashanti region always supersedes that of the national, figures.
Yes, David, that is accurate. And in the morning, we did that analysis. So, for example, when you look at the Ashanti region, in 2020, while the national turnout was 79%, Ashanti region did 83%. So that clearly is 4 percentage points more. And this is not a one-time event. It's been characteristic of the Ashanti region. So when you go to, for example, 2016, while the national turnout was some 69.3%, again, the Ashanti region did 75.5%. Now, in 2012, when the national turnout was, let me clear so that we can all see, was 79.43%, Ashanti region did 84.5%. So the Ashanti region always tends to record a higher voter turnout than the national average. But David, I always remind you of this, that when you pick the NCCE data, it's one data I peruse extensively and can share on. When they surveyed the 16 countries, one of the things they told us was that the willingness to vote after the survey was some 81.8% national. But when you break it down into the various regions, you notice that when it comes to the southern regions, the willingness to vote was declining because the 5 northern regions recorded percentages above the 90% threshold. But the Ashanti region was doing just 81.2%. So clearly that tells you that the enthusiasm to vote in the Ashanti region was less than the national average, which is a misnomer compared to the trend I've shown you per this data. Again, when you look at the voter register roll, from 17 million to about 18.8 million, the percentage increase was 10.23%. The Ashanti region's roll increased from 3,020,000 and some difference to about 3,295,274, the one we currently have. The percentage was 9.11%. again lower than the national average. So the 2024 election is quite interesting. And as we wait for the Electoral Commission to give us the voter turnout, I particularly, based on the morning after I closed, driving around town, I think that maybe, just maybe for the first time, we may be recording a voter turnout in the Ashanti region that may be equal to the national average, or the difference will just be a little bit negligible. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Eugene. Now, Dr. Amache, going into today's elections, the NPP were targeting 85% of votes from the Ashanti region. The NDC says 32% or even 35%. Looking at the fact that we're being told that voter turnout is low, how is that going to impact the targets they set for themselves?
Obviously, it's going to affect the fortunes of, all the parties. But I expect that the MPP that really makes the most of voter turnout in Ashanti region, will definitely register some sort of losses, if I should put it that way. And we can't wait to see the voter turnout, generally for the country and specifically for Ashanti region, because a lot of efforts were put in by the MPP, given the fact that they gave themselves that super high sort of a percentage to reach. I'm saying super high because they've never been there before, not even when President Kufuor, was the candidate. And so they,
Doc, indulge me. I'll come back to you so you can complete on your submission there. Anthony, I'm told is now ready, and so let's take a trip to the Ahafo North, where Anthony will be giving to us, some information as to what is transpiring there. Anthony, please, over to you.
Yes, I'm here at the Ahafo North constituency, precisely Tepa, and the collation is currently still ongoing. The EC officials are here at the Collation Center and they are submitting their results. But there's heavy turnout of crowd all around the Collation Center waiting for the results. And I must say that there's been a couple of some chaos leading to heavy police and military presence here at the Ahafo North. Ever since the police arrived, matters have been calm and everything is now moving on smooth, I must say.
Very much, Anthony, there, giving us some report from the Ahafo North constituency there. So, Dr. Amache, you were saying earlier, that you were not surprised about the fact that we've been told that voter turnout has not been impressive, and you said that the highest we had was during President Kufuor's time. Please take it away from there.
Yeah, I was also adding that the party really gave themselves super high expectations, and my surprise comes from several factors. MPP put in a lot of effort. The campaign was intense in Ashanti region. They really had people visiting houses. I received about 4 to 5 text messages inviting me to go and vote for the MPP candidate. I thought that it was only in my constituency. So I talked to people in Ashanti region in different constituencies. They all received such text messages. You had these vehicles with public address systems mounted on them, moving from place to place, reminding people to vote. I think they left no stone unturned to get everybody to go out to vote. And if in spite of that, people simply refuse to vote, then it gives us, a research problem. I mean, those of us in academia, it gives us a research problem. What exactly, happened? Why is it that, people, we are told as at now, we don't have it as a fact. It's not been established yet. Like, given that this is the what we cared, this is the situation, then definitely we want to find out why. But then, before going to the ground to collect data, you always, guide yourself with some developments in the system. The fact that the economy has been facing difficulties is something that everybody knows. And I know a good number of people, generally around the country, and also here in Ashanti region, who lost their monies in this bank stuff thing that occurred, a good number of people. I know also that, market women in Ashanti region openly bared their teeth, and told the MPP they were not going to vote for them because they have been taken for granted. That they brought the military to pull down the market and promised that, these markets were going to be put up in no time. As we speak, nothing, much hasn't been done. Not that nothing, much hasn't been done. The markets are not in place. And many of these women say that, staying at home, doing no work, they have had to simply feed on their capital. There are a lot of factors that one can, recount. But then, at the end of the day, you want to go down, to people, engage them to find out their real reasons for not heeding the call to go out in large numbers to vote for their party. David.
All right, so let me go to, Eugene Gositutu. Eugene is still on our smart wall. We just took a trip to the Alpha North, spoke to our correspondent on the ground, Anthony. Give us a bit of insight as to how it looks like in terms of voting in 2020 and, if possible, 2016. Who has a seat there?
Well, David, currently when you go through the trends of the Half North is the Tepa enclave. Sanid, as I know, is not going again. The member of parliament is not going again for the MPP. Now, when you go through the trends, you can clearly see that it's a similarly dominated MPP area. In 2012, the NDC won the parliamentary, so they did cut and blouse in 2012. Then in 1996, the NDC won both the presidential and parliamentary. So it's a bit of a very interesting constituency to watch, and I think that is why it's a bit cagey. But when you look at the absolute figures in 2020, for example, the difference between Honorable Sanid, the MPP candidate and the current member of parliament for the area, and Kwesi Dusay of the NDC, you can clearly see that the difference is manageable. And David, is one of the seats the NDC in the region, as you know, comfortably told us that they are very confident of, flipping. And in fact, all the Half-North seats, they've told me confidently that they've put in a lot of work, they put in a lot of activities, a lot of party machinery on the ground, and they believe that beyond Half-North North, Half-North Southeast, Half-North Southwest, they believe they can take this seat from the MPP.
Professor Akote, let me come to you with this question. Generally, how would you describe today's exercise?
Largely successful, but with some chaotic scenes, as we are all witnessing. Which aspect is not that good, as we keep saying, for us. What we want to see is a mature democracy that is growing. But then it doesn't look so for some of us, and that should be worrying and disturbing. We must be growing. Characterizing our elections with this kind of chaos, suspicions, and it's like general mistrust of the system. Even government's own party seem not to be trusting their own institutions. That is so bad. So our institutions, we have a lot of work. We must all agree that our institutions are not delivering, and especially, we keep mentioning the military, even in these particular elections. The military. It is not characteristic of a democratic system to be using the military in elections. But then let me also say that the Ghana Army is, for me, as I know them, one of the most disciplined, best institutions that we have in this country. And therefore, I'm surprised that at this moment, they shouldn't allow themselves to be drawn into some of these things unnecessarily. So our military, for me, I still have a lot of respect for them. I have worked with them personally on a number of occasions, and I can witness to how disciplined they are. But of late, I think they need to up their game, so they should be able to maintain those standards that we know them of. Thank you.
Dr. Machi, along the line when Professor Akote was speaking, I heard you laugh. What was the laughter? What killed you?
Dave, the institutions that are not working, I teach politics, and anytime we say that institutions are not working, what we mean is that the political actors are simply not playing by the rules. That's what we mean. And all these things come from the top, the leadership. The moment the people at the very top give an indication that they don't play by the rules, like we have it in a local proverb, it sort of goes through the rest of the body. It affects everything. And then it sort of corrupts the whole system. And at times, you get an impression that, the military appears to be forced on society. Donald Trump tried it with, the former, the chairman of Joint Military...
Yeah, Chief of Staff.
Yes, General Miller.
Yeah.
Donald Trump played a trick on him and got him to, in a way, support him before the elections of 2020. Eventually, when he found that out, he had to apologize to the people of America for having been drawn into civilian affairs. And then he openly declared something to the effect that he swears his oath of office to the Constitution, but not to the person of the president. To me, that was significant. That was significant.
So Dr. Machi, hold the thought for me. Let's go to Yeboah. I'm told Yeboah is ready with some very important, vital information for us right now. Yeboah, if you can hear us, what do you have to share with us?
All right, David, I am currently at the COSAC building in Adum, where the constituency collation is being done. I have been touring the Subim constituency, and currently what is happening is that the collation is still not done. However, the results that have been available to us are that of the special voting that was done on Monday. And from the results that I have, or the results that were given by the EC officials, the total valid votes were 1,183. Out of the 1,183, 5 were rejected ballots. The NPP clinched 621 votes, while the NDC took 533 votes. We also had Cheddar of Nana Bediako clinching 17 votes, and Alan Tremantin also taking away 9 votes. Hello.
All right, so that was Clinton Yeboah giving us some update from the Subi constituency where he's been all day for us. All right, so back to our smart wall. Let's continue our conversation about the... All right, so let's speak to Arno. Arno, I'm told that Gifty Arno is also ready with some information for us. Emmanuel. Okay, so Emmanuel Bright Kweku. Emmanuel, not Gifty. Emmanuel Bright Kweku. Emmanuel, good morning. I know it's been a busy day for you, but what do you have to share with us this morning? What do you have for us?
All right, David, so definitely it has been a busy morning all through the night. We came here somewhere around 8 p.m. hoping that they would complete the collation for us. But as we speak now, the collation exercise is still ongoing. So as you can see behind me, that's quite a number of the presiding officers from the various polling stations. We have some 145 polling stations here at the Mesiam North constituency in the Ashanti region. And all of these presiding officers are going into the main presiding officer over here to look at the various pink sheets that were collated at the various centers. And once they are done, it comes to the projection over here. I want you to have a look at the projection that we are having at this particular area. So as you can see on your screen, that's the projection. So far, we understand that they have done a little over 50 polling centers, but they have not tallied the numbers to know really who is actually leading and whether the NPP parliamentary candidate Akwesi Knedu is leading or his main opponent, Hamza Swala of the NDC, is winning. And so, David, for here, that is what is currently happening. If you can also look at them, the numbers, and some of the presiding officers, some are lining down. They are hoping that they'll get something, and they'll quickly go to the main presiding officer here to have their results collated. And so, David, this is what is currently happening. It's been a tiring day for most of us here, and we're hoping that by somewhere 4 a.m., hopefully, we should get some numbers trooping in from here at the Ayawaso Presby and Collation Center for the Mesha North constituency, David.
No, Brad Kweku. Nana Boache Yadom is also pitched camp somewhere in the Ashanti region. Nana Boache, where exactly are you and what can you share with us?
All right, David, I'm in the Ejura Dumase constituency, and as I speak to you, I am in the Ejura Community Center, which happens to be the Collation Center for the constituency, receiving over 177 or 177 exactly polling centers, the results pulling through from these polling centers. And you can see right behind me EC officials walking through, and then agents for the NPP's parliamentary candidates, and then for the MPP generally, who are seated right behind me, waiting for the collation to start. But as of now, it hasn't started. So we're waiting for the issue of EC officials to begin with the process. And also, we have the incumbent member of parliament. But I want to let you see what is actually going on here. And this is actually the center. And that is the incumbent member of parliament, the Honorable Bawa Brima, and his people seated here, waiting for the EC to begin with the coalition. And he has been jubilating already, and his supporters have been jubilating outside the Ejura constituency, especially the community center, which happens to be the coalition center. Honorable, you're live on Joy, and you're sitting here waiting for the EC to begin with the coalition. So far, what results do you have? And in fact, the jubilation out there by your supporters, does it tell you anything?
Thank you. And like I said earlier, I want to reiterate that the elections are won at the polling stations, and it is the results, the aggregation of the results of that comes from the polling stations that are announced. So, as a serious political party, we have tabulated all the results from the 177 polling stations, and we are leading with close to about 5,000 votes. So we feel that we have won the election. Now we're waiting for the EC to start the coalition, so that at least we will have our official figures and declaration before we leave here.
All right. Thank you so much. And so, Dave, that is the member of parliament for the Ejura constituency, and you can have a clear look at how the coalition center looks like, and that is where the projection would be done. And you can also see the supporters of the NPP or agents for the NPP who are also seated there waiting for the EC to begin with the coalition. Tight security here in the Ejura constituency, Dave. I must say that cannot be left out. This constituency has a number of military men in here. The police, security service are all here waiting for the coalition to be done. And out there, you can see that a number of supporters are waiting for the EC to also go ahead with the declaration. So that's what's happening here, Dave, throughout the coalition process we are waiting for to begin anytime soon.
To us from the Ejura constituency. At this point in time, we'll be doing some substitution. If it was a game of football, I guess upon a time where the coach would inform you that, well, let's do some substitution. So Professor Martin Akote of the Valley View University is going to be leaving us now. And joining us next will be Dr. Ali Nyaba. He is with the History and Political Studies Department here at University. So, Prof, thank you very much for your time with us. All right, so Dr. Machi, you were making some point before I rudely interrupted. Forgive me about that, but let's hear you.
We're just looking at some of the challenges that we have associated with the elections and generally the procedures, the mechanisms. We're thinking that starting from 1992 and having gone through this. Routines every 4 years to date, we should have at least perfected our system. We should have perfected our system. We should be doing better now things should have become routines so that we go through it, the counting. I mean, everybody is there at the polling station, the collation centers, just putting together the numbers from the polling station. It shouldn't be a difficult thing, but it is difficult because, you know, generally with governance in Africa, with governance in Ghana over the years, electoral governance, the general trend has been that, you know, political actors intentionally misgovern so as to take advantage of the system. So we are not interested in putting in structures and making sure that these structures work. And if the challenge we have has got to do with human agency, then we should be increasingly going digital. You come to KNUST, we vote, you know, the digital way. After voting, the ballot papers are produced indicating your vote. So the system, the computers do the counting, and then at the same time we count papers, you know, the ballot papers. So we have double check. I mean, Ghana can do that. We do this at KNUST.
So Ghana can also do the same. Dr. Ali Nyaba now joins us. And Doc, good morning.
Good morning.
How has your day been?
Great.
So Dr. Machi is saying that at KNUST campus, you vote based on the digital systems you have. Now, I know that, for example, when I was speaking to you early on this morning, you said to me that as a nation, we've gotten to a stage where we should be able to be declaring results within 12 hours. Apparently, it's not going to happen this year, is it?
No, it doesn't look likely. In relative terms, in previous elections, by this time even the quantum of results that trickles in appears to be lacking this time around. So we haven't even improved from last 4 years, and even 2016 and 2012. So it's not likely we are going to do better at all.
But in it all, people are praising the EC for a good job done today. People are praising the security for a good job done today. What's your own view about the performance of work done by the Electoral Commission of Ghana, plus the security as well?
Largely, the process was quite smooth until the hitches that led to the death of 2 people. So on that score, if we are able to conduct the elections successfully, you know, these are things that happen outside the main deal. I'm talking about conducting the elections and then collating the results. You will give credit to the EC for delivering that. And then the security, as of now, although it hasn't been excellent, have done better than maybe even last 4 years. We just hope that it doesn't get worse than it is at the moment. So maybe we are making progress. But it's so unfortunate, we must say, to lose, like Dr. Machi was saying this morning, to lose a single hair is not worth it during elections. So they might have not delivered as expected by all Ghanaians, but it's a good thing going forward.
But do you have the feeling that we've learned lessons from these things? Because in our last election, some 8 persons died. What has happened out of it? This time around, unfortunately, 2 have died. What do we really need to do? What do we need to put in place that would ensure that we're just going to vote for a member of parliament or vote for a president for 4 years? What will it take for us to have these things done smoothly without any lives lost?
Yeah, I am not surprised. Most of the things that happened unpleasantly, we are repeating them because the actions we should have taken on previous occasions is very much lacking, you know. People were not arrested, people were not tried in court, people were not. So if there are no deterrent measures, you should not expect that people will learn lessons from it. And I understand 4 people were arrested on each occasion in these 2 instances. We just hope that it's not one of those things that end there. If people are tried and then brought to book appropriately, I am sure going forward we may do better.
How about the politicians themselves who, to a large extent, call on their supporters to sometimes come out in the numbers to do certain things on behalf of the political parties? I mean, for example, we know that the NPP and the NDC have held press conferences and have asked their supporters to mass up at coalition centers. And of course, per the visuals we've seen, supporters have heeded it. They've gone out there in their numbers to these coalition centers. Now, if you go out there and something happens, who do you blame? So why do we ourselves allow ourselves to be used by these political, leaders?
Yeah, the bottom line is to play by the rules. Is it against the rules for supporters of parties to go to coalition centers? If it is against the rule, then we should enforce it. If it is not, then I think we should do it in a manner that will not lead to the kind of chaos that has characterized these 2 deaths. But as a country, it is important that we revise the whole processes over the period, then revise our rules to meet reality, the reality of the things that we do and the repercussions thereof. So whatever it is now, and if it is leading to deaths and injuries, then we need to revise our rules so that we can mitigate some of these incidences.
One of the things that I saw this evening that disturbed me was when we went to Ablekuma West, where they were preventing some of the electoral materials to be taken into the coalition center. So some of the ballot boxes had to be thrown over, gates and all that. And at certain points in time, the supporters of these political parties were behind the gate and they were shaking the gate and trying to break the gate so they can have access to the coalition centers. So even when they are called upon by their political parties and their leadership to go out there, how should they conduct themselves on the ground so they don't get themselves injured or lose lives?
Honestly, that's unfortunate. But, it is difficult to advise people, especially in a game, to behave in a manner that you think fit. You see, the security apparatus should be aware of some of these spots like Ablekuma North. And I have friends who are not security personnel, but who posted on their WhatsApp statuses before these elections that these are the hot spots in the elections. And lo and behold, most of the places they mentioned actually led to some forms of chaos. So if you are a security agency preparing for this kind of exercise, you should strategize. You should have a very clear-cut means of delivering what has to be done at every center. For instance, why will you not find a way into the coalition room? Before you even bring the ballot boxes, the way should be very clear. You don't get there before you struggle with the people who have massed up there enjoying themselves, sort of. You don't know what people do before they come to some of these spaces, but you know how you should organize them in order to get what you want done delivered.
I'll come back to you, but we need to take a trip to Ahafar North, where Anthony is back, and I'm sure he has some more information to share with us. Anthony, what do you have for us this time around?
Yeah, David, if you can hear me at the background, there are still gunshots being fired here, and it's very scary. I'm speaking to you now. I'm trying to find the system. It was that the EC officers were inside giving their ballot, that's their numbers, to the chair. And the crowd were saying that they are taking time. So they got agitated, started breaking louver blades and also throwing in stones into the coalition center. So initially, it was only the policemen I saw. So later came the military guys who came and with guns, and they had to escort out all the EC officials, and they started firing gunshots. So as it stands now, I'm inside Tepa Secondary School. That's where the coalition center is. But because of the gunshots, none all the EC officials have left, and some, the crowd must say, are inside vandalizing anything they can see or anything they come across.
Obviously, coalition is not over yet, is it?
It's not over. We're still in the process, but because of what happened, because of the gunshots and everything, the military had to escort out the EC officials.
These EC officials, do you know where they've been taken to?
I don't know, because you know, it could have been perceived that, or you perceive that if you are trying to follow the EC officials, you are trying to attack them. So the military were firing guns, so I couldn't. No, I actually saw the direction they moved to, but as to where they are being taken to, I don't know.
And as we speak, you're still saying that they are still destroying property at the Collation Center?
Yes, please. Inside the Collation Center, they are still vandalizing anything they come across. You know, there's this masking tape that's written on Electoral Commission. They just tear it off and they walked in and they started, destroying things here. So here at Afana North is very heated. It's I don't know why they are so wild like that.
Well, very unfortunate scenes there we're seeing. But Samuel Kumi is also ready for us. He's got some information to share. Sammy, take it away, please. Sammy, if you can hear me, please unmute for me. Samuel Kumi, if you can hear me, please unmute, and then you share with us the information you have for us at this very moment. Well, when Sammy is ready, we'll get back to him. But Dr. Ali, we've had eventually peaceful, smooth elections. It gets a collation, and then we are hearing and seeing very unfortunate scenes. Just like we just returned from, you know. Okay, okay, Doctor, I'll come to you shortly with that question. But Samuel Kumi is ready. Sammy, if you can hear me, please unmute and tell us what is happening where you are.
Kum East constituency. We are yet to find out with the pinchies so that the political parties can also sign on. But then they are projecting some of the results for us outside the control room. But then it appears that these are the certified results from the Electoral Commission, ready for the political parties.
Sammy, forgive me. Sammy, forgive me. Before you talk to us about the results, what did you say about pink sheets?
Okay, so the pink sheets are ready for them to sign on. But they are holding on. This is because they want them to collate the parliamentary candidates' results. But then everybody inside the control room have accepted these results. So when you look at the presidential, these are the results that we are gathering from the control room that they have projected outside for us to also look at.
So go ahead. Okay. All right. So Faustina Safo, I'm also told it's on standby. Faustina Safo, good morning to you as well. What do you have for us at this very moment? Okay, very unfortunate. We lost Faustina Safo there, but she'll be getting back to us and we'll be telling us, what is happening at the Collation Center where she is. But Doc, I was saying that we have done this for several years. And some would sit back and say we should be able to go through this process without any of these hitches. I don't know how that makes you feel. The fact that we go vote, we get to the Collation Center, and then things go haywire, we destroy property, we're able to collect results and make them available on time.
Yes, this is part of the electoral process. The electoral process doesn't end with the voting. And over the years, the parties have noticed that a lot of things go on from start to finish. And if you don't follow the process from the beginning to the end, a lot of things may also change along the line. So I expected the security people to be very aware of this. because the political parties have become very, very aware of this scenario and try to play the game to favor them. And it behoves on the security to match the political party strategies that is very comprehensive from the period before the voting, during the voting, and after the voting until the results are officially declared by the Electoral Commission from the strong room. So I'll be surprised if it's as if the security personnel felt that it is just during the elections that they have to be vigilant. It's just during the elections that it's difficult to control the crowd. It is a process, and you must follow it through till the end.
Dr. Machi, what do you want to add to what Dr. Ali Nyaba has said?
I am looking at it from this angle of mistrust. What causes...
Doc, hold on for me. I'll come to you to take your views on it shortly. Faustina Safa, I'm told, is now ready, and she's on standby to share with us some information she's been able to gather. Faustina, please, what do you have for us?
Hi. So far, I'm reporting live from the Weija Gbawe constituency, and the atmosphere here is quite tense. I'm at the Weija Gbawe Municipal Assembly, the Collation Center. Within the past 1 hour, we've been having lots of issues from both the EC and party officials. So I'll just walk you through some of the key events that have happened within the past 1 hour. Initially, confusion erupted at the constituency collation center. Now, this is because the EC, they insisted that only one party agent could monitor the data entry process. We know that so far they have received the pin sheet from all the 239 constituencies in this, or polling stations rather, in this constituency. And so the next phase is imputing the data onto the system so that they can send it to the EC headquarters. And there's a projector here so that everyone can watch the process. However, the EC was firm. They wanted just one party rep to monitor the process, and the NDP would have none of that. Tempers fled, led to a lot of altercation, and the police and the military have to intervene to restore calm. Right now, just behind me, a lot of chanting going on. Some youth have masked up at the entrance of the collation center, trying to break down the gate. In fact, the military is trying to maintain calm there, the police as well. They have called for reinforcement. They say that they are here to protect their ballot. What that means, we're yet to find out. They are very upset. They say the process has delayed so far, and they want to understand what exactly is happening. So that's the situation right now at Weija Gbawe constituency polling station.
Well, thank you very much for that information we shared with us. Dr. Machi, I know I've asked an earlier question, but based on what we just heard from our correspondent on the ground, how come supporters, the party supporters, don't believe that their party agents representing the party will do a great job for them, and therefore they mass up at the coalition centers? You have party agents. Why don't you leave them to do what is required of them?
David, the whole thing is that there's a general mistrust in the, in the system that we have put in place. And I think the point where this whole thing comes up so strongly is the collation centers. Moving the material from the polling station to the collation centers. At that place, my understanding is that, they should be dealing with the pink sheets. That is my understanding. They should be dealing with the pink sheets. But we saw even how difficult it is for some presiding officers to send their materials to the collation centers. It's the mistrust. It's the mistrust. And so the political parties believe that when they have their people there in large numbers, that alone will bring pressure to bear on the system for everybody to do the right thing. So I think going forward, Ghana will want to look at that challenge, and work with the political parties to find a solution to that. If we cannot go about it digitally, so that we skip that segment. If you can go about it digitally, a system that they know. The political parties are obviously made to be, they they should be served, or they should be inputted into the system such that when the collation gets done, copies get to them in a way automatically. We need to find a way to take out the human agency at that level. The mistrust is too much.
Dr. Lee Nyaba, so we've been told severally, that elections are won at the polling station. So if we allow the voting to be done and then counted at the polling station, pink sheets signed, and then being transferred to the collation centers, what difference will the action they make at those collation centers have on the elections? Well, we're told already that elections are won at the polling station.
Yes, that's true. I was just agreeing with Dr. Machi that the processes are too many and they involve human activities too many times. And I thought right from the polling station, we should not go to another collation center, then another collation center before the National Strong Room. I think right from the polling station, information should be disseminated to different facets for evidence. You understand? So we should not go to district collation center before regional collation center, then the national collation center, all with human beings moving from one place to the other, then sending one ballot box, ballot boxes from one place to the other, sending pink sheet from one place to the right from the polling station. We should be able to send, these are figures. These are figures that are authenticated by various agents, party agents, party of EC officials, so, and then observers. So right from there, it should now be the figures flowing to a
have another
point.
Reporter, correspondent ready to share with us some information. And if you watch our screens, you can see some action going on there. So please take it away. Where exactly are you right now? What can you share with us? His name is Christian Oforukumi. Christian, if you can hear me, good morning to you. And what can you share with us, Christian Oforukumi? Hello, Chris. Can you unmute for me? Christian Kumi, can you hear me, please?
Hello.
Yes, Christian, I can hear you now. If you can hear me too, please go ahead. Tell us where you are and what is happening there.
Okay, currently I am in the Banda district, Banda constituency, and collation at the collation center, and collation is faulted. Currently, the EC is looking for the MPPs to come and give them the keys to the padlock to the special voting, so that they will be able to count the special voting. Currently, according to the EC, they are done with all the polling stations, and they are now waiting for the special voting. According to them, all the political parties who put padlock to where the special voting ballot boxes were kept have come to the collation center, but they've been trying to, get the MPP parliamentary candidate, that is Joe Dankwa, to bring his key for them to get access to the special vote. As a result, they are halting the coalition for a while, and they are trying as much as possible to get him, and they continue with the coalition. So currently, they are holding a meeting with the other parliamentary candidates and the other party officials in the coalition center. So after the meeting, they will know what to say. So we are all there waiting to get the outcome of their meeting.
Thank you very much. I was going to ask him whether he has an idea what the AC intends to do if they don't still reach this gentleman, Joe Dankwa. But Mr. Kumi, thanks very much for that update. We'll come back to you for more information shortly, especially when that meeting is over and what decision they arrive at. Dr. Ali, what do you make of this? All his phones are off.
Is this not funny? Because that's why I was talking about figures. You see, how can all the political parties bring padlocks and then lock a place? I tell you, David, after some time you say this to your kids and they will be like, did you people really live like that in the 21st century? Yeah, I think this we should have passed the stage where you make things more difficult than easy. Once we finish with the voting, we should be dealing with figures. What if something happened to even the ballot boxes that were kept there from the time that they did the special voting up to now? How can you ensure the security? You are talking about padlocks. How is it difficult to break into padlocks?
What do you expect or envisage the EC will do or can do if they still don't reach out to this Joe Dankwa guy?
Oh, they can just get a representative, another representative of the party, and then break the padlock as witness.
The padlock.
Yes. Another representative of the party should be there so that they will destroy the padlock. How can one person hold the whole system into ransom? It's not fair.
Eugene, how has the day been like for you? We started, engaging with our audiences here from Studio 995, Kumasi. We've given them key constituencies to watch. We've talked about, why the Ashanti region is key to the elections. We've talked about the voter turnout, which of course we know has been poor. Although the vice president and the presidential candidate for the NPP spent some 15 straight days here in the Ashanti region, where we also know that the gurus of the NDC also took time to campaign in the region, yet it hasn't reflected in voter turnout. What do you make of all this?
Well, Dave, we are yet to get official turnout figures from the election management body, so we can only use sites. You can do a site analysis of the voter roll. But I think that the day has been quite intriguing. And David, it's been a reminder that though we've done some 32 years of our democracy, and Ghana is seen as a beacon of democracy when it comes to the African continent, we have a long way to go, because generally it was a peaceful exercise when we were doing the polls from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. There were limited reported incidents of issues at the various polling stations, but for us to finish and sorting and counting, and we are recording all these incidents, is a bit disappointing. And for me, I think that the police service beyond the Electoral Commission must set up so that they ensure that the security and the sanctity of the ballot that people went to stand in the queue to cast will be ensured, and also results will be early. David, for example, I'm very, very disappointed that,
Domi Kwabenya, where Blessed Soga is.
For a very long time, but as we see now, the crowd is very jubilant, as we can see, celebrating Ablekuma, who's one of the leading contenders, the candidate of the National Democratic Congress. We're not sure of why they're jubilating, but they believe that Domi Kwabenya, for the very first time in a very long while, now belongs to the New Patriotic Party. We can, of course, tell you where we are now. We are at the Collation Center, where, of course, in a few minutes from now, you will see that the figures will be collated. But you see on the screens now some sort of figures, provisional figures coming through and giving a hope to the supporters of Ablekuma Akurugu that for the very first time, she will be making history by unsettling the New Patriotic Party, which has long since dominated this constituency. But let's try and get closer to some of the jubilant supporters and find out why they are happy. And they seem to be very much excited about the situation. So we'll just get closer to some of them and get why they're excited. So as you can see, some of them are happy. Why are you happy, sir?
We are happy because Domi Kwabenya NDC winning, but MPP so the Papa Bia Mayan. Nisanti for the first time. Ya change seat way at the NDC. Now your person ya kachira MPP say never again. This seat will never, and ever.
Are you surprised about what's happening here today?
We are not surprised because when it comes to our PC, she has worked very hard for the past 4 years. Aliklim for Sina Aliklim Akulugu. Wa ye juma wa nante iti omanfoni na enimu anu ti enya yen wanwa say and yetimi anya resource we. And afi Ebano John Dramani Mahama oyempuntu juma pa maye o maye yan secondary school mienu osanso maye yan hospital osan ye Doman to Atomic Road ne santi amaye nim John Dramani Mahama time obedi 4 years ye hu ne mbodembo iti anda change way and yeah nim say change way ebeba na aban.
Okay, so basically what this supporter has been telling us is that the seat has been won simply because of the track record of John Dramani Mahama. They believe that it's a John Dramani Mahama effect that has made the New Patriotic Party to win the NDC, I should say, to win the seat for the very first time, in a very long while. Giving the party's long history of having tilted towards the New Patriotic Party for a very, very long time. But of course, we'll be getting back to the Jubilant crowd very shortly. But I just want you to see what's happening to our area because very soon we will have the officials of the Electoral Commission declare the figures. We do not know the exact figures, but all we can tell you is that very soon we will have the figures come through and then you'll hear it first on your election headquarters. But we're live in the Doman constituency where it does appear now. It's becoming very clear that the National Democratic Congress is emerging a bit as the leading side going into the very final bits of this election. This is your election headquarters. Let's get to speak to. Why are you agitated? Can't you wait for the result to be declared?
No, we already know that. We already know. Mommy won the election, so they should declare Mommy right now.
Are you sure she won?
Oh, she have won the election already. Long before we all know that Mommy won the election. They should declare Mommy right now. If they don't want any war.
There won't be war, but there won't be war. We want peace. But talk to us. Why do you feel that she's emerging as the leading person for tonight? Why do you think she's winning?
No, we all.
Why do you think she's winning?
No. Because the figure that we are having right now, we all know that Mommy is leading, so they shouldn't try.
I see. Okay.
We were at the various police stations, we had the PCs, and we had the results then, and all the results that we had then, even where areas, police stations that NDC has never won before, all those places we won hands down, both parliamentary and presidential, and we collected all those results, and we've seen that we have won overwhelmingly in this constituency.
But some of the NPP supporters you see to the other side, they disagree with you. They feel that they still have a chance.
They have one chance. They are just consoling themselves with that. They lost these elections way back in 2022 when the dynamics of the economy changed. In 2022, they lost these elections.
So you personally voted for Electoral?
Yes, I voted for Electoral.
Why did you vote for her?
I voted for her at Novelty Academy at Asoma.
Why did you support her?
I support her because she has a vision for this constituency and the youth of this constituency. And we are tired for so many years of NPP ruling this constituency. We have nothing to boast of. And this is the largest constituency in this country. And we've been voting for NPP and we had nothing to boast of. As youth, look at us here. We have nothing to do. We are tired. We are angry for change.
See, after 8 years, if the only message you have to sell to Ghanaians is still free SHS, then what's the point? Ghanaians are tired. And it's about the economy and nothing else. Basically, it's nothing else than you can't, it's about the economy. So after 8 years, if the free free SHS is what you still have to sell to Ghanaians, then obviously, and they knew that besides rigging, there's no way they'll have any chance. Besides rigging.
This is a known stronghold for the NPP, isn't it?
Yes, so 4 years ago, I voted and left, and then I came back, I heard the results, and you couldn't argue because you weren't there. But this time, I voted, I was there to protect my ballot. So this time I was there, it's not like I was hearing it on TV or radio. I was there, I saw everything. I was part of the counting. So basically this time, and it's obvious, the people are tired. You can't keep selling one message after 8 years, Let me tell you.
Yeah, talk to us. Some feel that this will be short-lived. It will just be for 4 years and then the NPP may come for it. Do you believe so?
I do not. I do not believe that. I do not believe that the NDC is going to lose this seat easily. Reason being that the demographics of Domi Kwabena is such that when Ayawaso was MP, she had the goodwill of her father's church members. So the Christo Asafo congregation voted massively for Ayawaso in this constituency. But most of them were not living in this constituency. Yeah. They come from all parts of Ghana to come and vote. Yes. And I'll give you an example. In previous elections, you realize that a lot of buses come to Taifa where they have registered to vote in favor of the MPP and Ayawaso at the time. But because she did not win the primaries on a ticket of the MPP, all those people did not come to vote. For my polling station in Taifa, we have 550 people on our roll, but only 300 people voted. You understand? And out of the 300, the NDC had about 200 thereabouts. You get me? So the demographics have changed.
Are you saying Sarah Ayawaso did not perform well as an MP?
Ayawaso, well, let me not judge her now because she's not here. Let me not judge her now. But we can all attest to the fact that her tenure in Parliament in the past 4 years has been terrible, has been abysmal. Obvious. She left her seat in Parliament for weeks on end. And then she went to the States. She went to the States, came back and started speaking some slang to us. That, in fact, got people angry. But it played in favor of the NDC in fact that the MPP thought her ticket was going to be a losing ticket. But they did not know that if they had fronted her to come for the elections this year, she would have given us a run for our money. But she not been in a race, as I'm telling you, it made her supporters who come here to vote for her in their numbers did not show up. And that is the reason why NDC has won this seat. And if I tell you, if they keep parading someone else, the NDC will continue winning this seat. And I assure you that.
Okay, we wait to see. History is just about to happen. If indeed anything will go in the manner in which all of this jubilant crowd and expectant crowd are expecting it to go, because the unconfirmed or provisional figures appear to be in the favor of the National Democratic Congress. They are making history for the very first time as they believe that they will emerge victorious and that Ablekuma West will be the next parliamentary member for the constituency. It's not been confirmed yet, but we're still waiting to see what officially the Electoral Commission of Ghana would say concerning one of the largest constituencies within the country as we speak. And it's been a very, very shocking moment for many of the NPP supporters, some of whom are around here to my left. But you also see that the NDC members simply can't wait because they want the results to be declared as soon as possible. So we're still waiting, and we are just waiting for the EC to declare. Why would you be patient for the EC to just declare?
Domi Kwabena always MPP rigged the election.
But I mean, now you're here. No. Just wait for the EC to declare.
We can't wait. We can't wait again. We have waited and we can't wait again because we know them. We know what they can do. So in the next 10 minutes, EC must declare this election now.
But some say that you have to wait, because they need to put all the figures. They need to put all the figures together. Why won't you wait?
Oh, till when? Till when? They are wasting time. I think it's done. They should declare so that we can also.
It is quite new to us that Domi Kwabena's declaration has taken this long. This is not how long it takes. It's obvious that all the polling stations have submitted everything to them, and they've done everything. So I don't know what is keeping them to declare exactly who is the winner, and they know exactly who has won.
Yes.
Maybe there's something fishy behind, but we don't know.
So you just can't wait. That's what
we are eager. Yeah.
Kwabenya, and we're told that history has been made. Blessed, thanks very much. And interesting thoughts there by residents of Dom Kwabenya. We'll be talking about Dom Kwabenya in a bit, but let's speak to Kenneth JC. Kenneth JC is at the MPP Communications Directorate. Kenneth, good morning to you too. Trust you're well. What is happening at the MPP Communications Directorate?
Well, the MPP's Communications Directorate is very silent this morning. Well, between 9 and 2 a.m. we were supposed to have had 2 press conferences according to the schedule that was given to us. We were supposed to have been briefed at 11:45 p.m. and then 2 a.m. but none of those press conferences have happened. Now, they wanted to depart from the traditional way of communicating to their supporters and the Ghanaian public as a whole. In previous elections, you see the party speaking to Ghanaians from the party's national headquarters. This year, what they decided to do was to do that from here, the Communications Directorate, and the setup behind me is where the Baumia campaign team's communication director, Miracles Abuaje, spoke to the nation twice, and then also the party's General Secretary, Justin Kodia, also came to address the press, the supporters, and Ghana as well. But as we speak now, none of them is here. All of them have left the premises. Just an hour and a half ago, where I'm standing was filled with vehicles, of these executives. But now it is left with just security personnel and pressmen and women who are here. They haven't officially communicated anything to us yet. We've not been briefed as to what is happening, but the 3 press conferences that were held here today were addressed by Miracles and then the General Secretary of the party, Justin Kodia. They raised some concerns, especially in the last elections. They debunked the rumors that were coming out from the Ashanti region by the national organizer of the NDC, Joseph Yamin, that they found some 500,000 ballot papers that were stashed in a house in the Ashanti region. Now, they said that the NDC was losing the election as at that time, and that the NDC wanted to cause chaos and disrupt the process. Now, earlier also, they did indicate that they commend the Ghana Police Service for arresting an EC officer who issued about 15 ballot papers to people in Kintampo South, which did not bear the photograph of the MPP flag bearer Mahmudu Bawumia, and called on the security authority to prosecute him as soon as possible. But as I speak to you now, there is not a sign of any party executive here in this building. We've not been communicated to officially as to what the results they have collated and tabulated are. They've not told us anything, but in the last briefing that Miracles gave to us, they said they will be updating us on the figures they have so far, but they said that they wouldn't want to go ahead of the Electoral Commission, and will start to do that the moment the Electoral Commission starts declaring their results. But now, not a sight of any of them. We were told that we're going to be here for 3 days. The media was told that we're going to be here for 3 days. But as we speak now, most of the media personnel have left this premises. And
thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kenneth JC, for bringing us those updates from the MPP's Communications Directorate. Our next, stop is going to be the EC's office, where there's a presser. There's a press conference that the EC is about to share with the nation. Let's go over to the EC's premises now.
Results produced without due process will not be recognized by the Commission. It is important to note that votes for each candidate have already been counted and announced at the polling stations, and therefore will be collated based on the pink sheets that have already been given to the political parties. There is therefore no need for supporters to go to the collation centers, as the political parties already have copies of the pink sheets. This infiltration of supporters into the collation centers is delaying the collation process. We therefore entreat all supporters who have thronged the collation centers to leave to enable the returning officers to collate the results from the polling stations. We trust that the leadership of the political parties will advise them to do so. Thank you.
At this point, we are not taking questions. I would like to thank you very much for staying with us throughout the day, the night, and to this morning. Shall we go back to the Collation Center? Thank you.
The EC's, one of the bosses there, Stephen Tete, asking the political parties and their leadership to call off their supporters from the coalition centers. It is something that we've talked about already. We know there's a statement from the Peace Council as well. What do you make of this call by the Electoral Commission, Dr. Alinyawa?
I think it's a right call, and he started by saying that they cannot declare the results without following the due process. They wouldn't want to bypass any of the due processes laid down before the exercise to declare results. And the more the supporters disrupt this process by thronging the collation centers, it delays the process. So it is in the interest of the parties, the political parties, especially those who are skeptical about the results, not being declared early, to do the needful so that the whole process can be smoother and faster than it has been so far.
Dr. Mashit Boateng, we spoke to Kenneth JC from the MPP's Communications Directorate, and per the visuals we saw, the place was virtually empty. He told us that that was a very place where Miracle Sabuaji was addressing the nation from. How are you taking that information from Kenneth JC?
I don't know whether he made any effort to reach out to any of them. He might have their contact numbers, because going by what he relayed to us, we get the impression that there was this intention to stay there until the whole exercise is over. At least the understanding some of us got is that, that there should be some team, some people there, stationed there at all times, to engage society generally as the results begin to come in. Initially, I was thinking that maybe they knew that the results are delaying, so they might have taken a decision to, relax and stuff like that. But if that were to be the case, they should have informed, at least the media before going. But as it is, leaving the place the way they have, it leaves the whole thing to speculations.
Dr. Ali, speculate. What is it communicating to you?
It's possible they have changed their plans in terms of venue, but it will be very unfair if they don't communicate that to the media, who they expect them to be around so that they can carry their messages. But it is also possible that, I've said this already, that it doesn't take as long as the EC takes to get the results for the political parties to know the outcome. So, yeah, it can be anything.
And a while ago, when Ledzokuku was engaging with us, using us 82, he came to us from Dom Kwamenya, and he says history is about to be made. Tell us about the Dom Kwamenya constituency, from the Ajwasafo era through Michael Quay Jr. What can you share with our audience?
Well, Well, David, we don't have the certified results yet from the Electoral Commission, but per the jubilation and also per from the projections from the Doman Kwabena Council, it seems as if Faustina Akurugu has flipped the seat per what the supporters of the NDC are saying. We wait to hear from the East officially. But David, that would have been quite a move, because in the last election, Sarah Adrasafo had 75,000. Whilst Faustina Akurugu garnered some 52,000, a difference of about 23,000. And he has won comfortably since he came on the scene in 2012, because when the constituency was first established, let's go to the trends. In 2004, you can clearly see Professor Michael Kwe was winning comfortably, 65.5% for the parliamentary election. And in fact, Adrasafo was the best performing member of parliament in 2016, where he garnered 68% of the vote in the Doman Kwabena constituency. Not even for the presidential candidate, not Kufuor, not Akufo-Addo, garnered the 68%. So it tells you how formidable Adrasafo is. Then we know what happened in post the 2020 elections, where you can clearly see she was reducing in performance in the Doman Kwabena constituency, because in 2020 you can clearly see the presidential candidate garnered more votes in the constituency than her, 60.6% as against her 58.4%. Then we all know the issues that happen. Some of the things we've heard, we cannot say it on TV. But she lost the primaries to the son of the former speaker, also the former communication minister, Professor Aaron Michael Kwe. And I feel that because he was a new candidate and all that, there would have been that bounce, there would have been that energy, there would have been that verve and that excitement in the constituency. And David, this is the biggest constituency in Ghana, some 182,644. And for the MPP, reportedly, to lose this is a big statement in the Greater Accra region.
Dr. Alinyaba, if you look at the dates, and Eugene, hold on, don't clear it off yet. That's 2012. And on the ballot, even in 2012, Sophia was still on the ballot. And again, she was there in 2016 and 2020 and 2024. Persistence. It is paid off, hasn't it? If what we're hearing is anything to go by.
So David, they are different candidates. In 2012, it was Sophia. Then in 2016, the NDC changed the candidate. To Nuruddin Mohammed. Okay. Akurugu was in 2020 and repeated for 2024.
Okay. But Alex, she's been there on two separate occasions.
Yes. So persistence, but also circumstances, especially the Adrasafo factor, and then his father and the church factor, like rightly put by the residents of Doman Kwabena. Yeah. So and then generally her behavior in the last term from 2020.
Not just in parliament, but even on social media.
Yes, and aside from that, the party MPP, their performance in the constituency to all contributed to this flip. If it is, it's not yet confirmed.
We haven't had the EC declare her winner, Akurugu, I mean. But Dr. Machi Boateng, one of the residents, I had somebody, no, it was a question that Blessed Zoga asked. That's going to be a one-off thing. Is that do you foresee that happening? If she has won indeed.
One-off for
Akurugu, for the NDC.
That's an interesting thing. I don't expect that to happen. They will want to, strengthen themselves in the constituency. They will want to get the votes there, the largest constituency. If indeed they are mindful, of keeping the place, I expect them to be able to hold on to the seat. But on a lighter note, let me say that what they might want to do is to keep, this lady, Electoral lady. I get the impression that Doman Kwabena, they like ladies, and possibly when they decided to drop Adrasafo and replace her with Michael Kwe, they said, "Look, you guys, you don't know what you are doing." But then on a much more serious note, I think one cannot take it that way. Now, then this is coming back with some understanding of the Ghanaian terrain. There's one thing. Governance keep political parties in political office. if you are mindful, you address yourself seriously to issues in society. You demonstrate that you are building the economy. You demonstrate that you are fighting corruption. You address yourself to things Ghanaians are.
I hear you, Dr. Machi. Hold on for me. One of our correspondents is also ready with some information to share with us at this very moment. So let's go over and get to hear what he or she has for us.